Hello, Louisville. Guess who's coming to dinner? Guess who's coming to dinner? Yes, I'm back. I was waiting for my guests to arrive for dinner, and I did my best to do some ad-libbing, and I think they're still on connected with me. But today we're blessed to have a young lady with us that has made some moves in this city, and she made a move. She showed up, y'all. She was driving back from Frankfort. So let's give it up to State Representative Attica Scott. Hey, Miss Attica Scott.
How are you? Thank you so. I appreciate your patience. We got done in Frankfurt, and it took me about an hour or so to get home, but I made it. I was a little bit late, but thank you for your patience.
Well, I wanted to interview. I wanted to talk to you, because a lot of times when you get interviewed and the press sticks a microphone in your face, you got a minute or so, but you don't really have time to tell them what you really want to tell them.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to let everybody know Attica and I met each other because we was both running for Metro Council, and
Yes.
she beat me out. But look, it's all right because you had bigger aspirations than I did politically. I thought I wanted to do that, but after running for office, there's a couple of things I found out. You got to have some money,
Mm,
and you got to have some contacts.
that's all right. That's right.
You know, and the reason I'm saying this to you is because now you're in a position that you're going to have to groom somebody eventually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's what a lot of times I don't see that that's what we do,
Mm-hmm.
that we groom someone to take our place. And I think we need to start doing that. We've got young politicians somewhere lurking in the wind, just waiting
Right.
for somebody to say, "Come on, just follow me around." That's all you have to do is follow them around.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I congratulate you on your achievements, and you're making waves and making things happen. So tell me about how this protest this summer impacted you.
Definitely. Now, I do want to say that I encourage people to shadow me in Frankfurt. And right now, because of COVID, it's shadowing me virtually, attending meetings virtually, because, I don't want to necessarily groom someone to follow in my footsteps. I want people to make decisions about what they think fits best for them and
Okay.
pursue what they feel like feels best for them. Also because I don't like this thing where we say you're next, right?
Right.
No, anybody
You
can
don't
do.
know who's going to be next.
We don't know who's going to be next.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
true.
Um, but I will say that the protests are also turning into policy because we've got folks who've been supporting our work with Breonna's Law for Kentucky, people who've been on the front lines for justice, standing up for justice for Breonna Taylor, and they are turning that protest into advocacy for good public policy, including Breonna's Law. To me, that's powerful. That's how you
That
you
is.
turn your activism into political power.
Well, that's what it's supposed to go there. That's kind of like the next step, isn't it?
That's right. That's right. It's policy, and now we've got so many people, especially young folks, who are out on the front lines who also want to turn that into political office. They're looking at running for office in 2022 at every level, local, state, federal, and I love it.
Wow, it is wonderful. That is wonderful. I saw
Yes.
they had Ja'Cory Arthur on TV today, and I see him. I just my heart just palpitates. I'm like, just go get him, brother. Just make it
Yes,
happen.
that's right.
And you're doing. Tell me, aside from Breonna's Law, are there any other initiatives that you are putting forth in the legislature?
There are, and I think that your viewers would be interested in the Maternal Care Act. They probably know that Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to die in childbirth than white
Childbirth,
women. And
right?
we're doing nothing about it in Kentucky, not a thing. And so I have filed the Maternal Care Act to address institutional and systemic racism in healthcare because that's the biggest issue. It's not a failure on the part of a mama or somebody who's pregnant. It's a
Right.
failure of the system, the medical system, to acknowledge their prejudices and their biases, and that they judge us based on our zip codes, our educational background, or how much money we make, for example. They don't take our pain seriously. And
Right.
so all of those issues have to be addressed. Another bill that I think your viewers would be interested in is the Crown Act. So I wear my hair naturally. I've got my locks twisted up, curled up today. But this is a bill to ban discrimination in education, housing, and employment based on your natural hair, afro, twist, braids,
Right.
whatever the case may be. So I think your viewers would be interested to know in Kentucky, you can still be discriminated against. You can still be kept out of housing because of your hair. An employer can have a policy that says you can't wear natural hair. A school, like what happened at my daughter's school, could
Right.
have a policy that says you can't wear natural hair. I want to end all of that.
I saw that where they actually made they cut this kid's locks off. I was
Yes.
like, now nobody cuts off the purple and blue and pink hair. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, how natural is that?
Mm-hmm.
So but our kids, because we are who we are, they get targeted. I mean, everything is targeting. I'm just I
Everything.
saw everything is like this kid is crossing the street. He wasn't jaywalking. You saw that, didn't you? He
Yes.
wasn't jaywalking, and you hear the conversation. The man says he's jaywalking, and the other policeman says, "No, he's not.
Mm.
It's a
Mhm.
controlled situation." And they
That's it.
got out of the car anyway. Just
Hmm.
madness.
Hmm.
I just
Well,
it hurts. Go
it
on.
hurts, and even in the situation where the young man got his locks cut, and my thing is, leave young people alone. Let them explore who they're going to be. They don't know who they're going to be yet. I
Yeah,
don't care what color your hair is. I don't care how you wear it. You are exploring who you are. Let's stop stripping away young people's imagination and creativity because it
right,
doesn't fit with some stereotype we have about how people should be.
right, right. What about the that racism uh is a pandemic,
Yes,
is a mental health and
yes,
a pandemic. Explain that
yes.
to us.
Certainly. So, State Representative Kelly Flood out of Lexington has filed a resolution to declare racism a public health crisis in Kentucky. And I signed on as a primary co sponsor because
Yes.
I believe that wholeheartedly. My full time work is in public health. So I see it every day. It is a public health crisis, emotionally, mentally, physically. We as Black folks are dying because of racism. But people who are Latinx are dying because of racism, because you've got people who believe we needed to build a wall to keep people out of this country. And we have had kids in cages separated from their mamas when they were breastfeeding them. That's racism, and it's a public health crisis. And so we've got to address it at every single level, not study it. We as Black folks have been studied for
Please.
decades. We've been studied
We
for
need a
decades. Stop
study
studying.
or a commission. Everything has to be studied. No, this is what happened. And can
This
you
is
fix
it.
it?
That's it. That's it.
Come on.
So the resolution to declare racism a public health crisis would make us look at our budget and how we allocate money, right? Because
Okay.
budgets are our moral documents, as former state representative Jim Wayne would say. They are our moral documents. So let's see, where are we allocating that money? Are we truly addressing issues of racial justice and racial equity with our budgets? Let's look at our legislation. Is our legislation focused on equity and racial justice? I'm going to say no, it's not, because it's
No,
not.
no, it's not. I mean, and just to see how it's like, how do we look at the glass, half empty, half full?
Mm.
And now we've got a majority Republican House, right?
Yes,
Assembly, and a
yes,
majority in the Senate as well,
that's correct.
state Senate. Okay,
Yes.
so now everything that we would think is normal, they see the exact opposite. Why?
Hmm.
Why? I mean, is there no place that we meet in the middle anymore?
Sadly, I'm a member of the Kentucky Legislative Black Caucus, and in the 5 years that I have been in Frankfort, zero. Let me make sure people see that, zero,
Zero.
zero,
Okay.
zero Black people's bills have been heard. Zero in 5 years. Zero. That's the
Wow.
legislative body I serve under.
Wow.
Yes.
Ooh, that's
Yes,
heartbreaking.
it's very
That's
heartbreaking.
that's
That's not
heartbreaking.
that's not why y'all elected us. Y'all didn't elect us thinking you were going to send us to a place where there was going to be blatant racism in our faces, saying we're not going to hear your bills, black people.
That's that's cold blooded. I mean, that's
It is.
downright just cold blooded.
Yes.
Oh, Attica, how do you deal with that?
It's not easy. It's not easy at all because that's not why y'all elected us at all. You elected us to be your representatives who would be able to advance good legislation that focuses on lifting up our communities. It's hard. And so I'm grateful that I have a strong foundation of faith that keeps me going every single day. I have an amazing family and friends who lift me up and support me to keep going back and forth to Frankfort. And I think about the people who wish that they could, but they can't, right? And so they sent me there because they can't. And so the least I could do is keep showing up, keep going, keep trying, and not give up ever.
It was refreshing to see you on the front lines,
Yeah.
out there fighting the fight when you were marching with the protesters. How did that feel to you? How did that feel to be around that energy?
I mean, it was good energy, and we often said match my energy, and that's what we did, matched each other's energy, kept each other pumped up and ready. And I just have to say, when I saw what happened January 6th in our nation's capital, and I saw
Hmm.
what happened to those of us who were protesting in Louisville, I was disgusted. I was disgusted that
Yeah,
700 people in Louisville got arrested seeking justice for Breonna Taylor for doing nothing more, in my case, in my teenage daughter's case, but walking across the street while Black, and we got arrested. And then I see people in DC spreading feces across our nation's capital, and 15 got arrested that first night versus
right.
the whole week when we got arrested, you had 120 people one night, 114 another night. The night we were arrested, 24. And it has really disgusted me to see how people who actually wanted to hang people, who had zip
Yeah,
ties, they could
yeah,
take people hostages, how they've been able to go on vacation. One of the
right.
women, I'm sure you saw, that's gone on vacation. Another
Well,
guy,
needed to go to Mexico.
she just had to. And then another guy, and we're in a global pandemic. And then another guy is getting his what is
His
his
organic meals.
his
Girl, please.
I'm a vegetarian, and I when we were locked up for 10 hours, I didn't eat anything because everything was covered in meat. But I didn't even think nothing. I didn't have the audacity to
To
say,
think
"Well,
you
where's
had a
my vegetarian
choice.
meal?" I didn't have a choice.
No, that's crazy. I mean, it's eye opening. I've known that we lived when I moved back here. I knew that we lived in a segregated city. I said, but I used to tell my mother all the time. I said, but it seems like when Louisville is playing basketball or football, and we're all sitting next to each other and we high fiving, we loving each other because we're all Cardinals or we're all
Mm,
cats. I said,
mm,
but you go out those doors and it's night and day.
mm,
I said, now, if we can get along to watch a sporting event, why can't
mhm,
the city be that cohesive? Because that's a whole lot of unity up in there.
mm, mm.
I don't understand it, but I guess I do understand it because
Right.
the city is now just sectioned off.
Mhm,
But even though
mhm.
we live everywhere,
That's right.
we live everywhere now.
That's right.
We used to couldn't live everywhere
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we
because
never reconciled with that either, did we? We never
no,
reconciled with the fact that we had redlining, that we've a family's house was firebombed
right,
in Louisville. We didn't
right.
ever reconcile with that. We just kept going,
Right. Because
moved on.
I was a teenager, Attica, and I marched for open housing out in Iroquois and
Okay.
remember it vividly, you
Mm,
know, um, and having to be taken to Children's Center. That's what we used to have a long time ago when the kids acted
okay.
bad. They take them to
Uh-huh.
Children's Center. And they took us to Children's Center, but knowing uh, that I lived through that and then see this, here it is in
Mm,
front of me again. I'm saying,
mm,
what is going on? And now
right.
just with the deaths and the blatant disregard for human
Mm,
life.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason that I started this show, because
Mm,
I wanted to try to find. I wanted to have it was like, it's time now. Let's stop just saying we need to have a conversation and have a conversation.
that's right.
To find some solutions. So, aside from legislatively, what do you see us as a community? What is it that we need to do, that we can do to better our situation ourselves?
Hmm. Well, there's a lot that we can do. We can, first of all, how are we taking care of one another in community? We're in this global pandemic. We're in this public health crisis. So, are we checking on our neighbors? Are we checking on our seniors? I know this summer
Right,
one of the things I did was phone calling seniors in District 41 that I represent, just to make sure they had what they needed. So, are we
right,
doing that with our neighbors?
right.
Are we making sure that our kids have what they need? Because emotionally and mentally, our kids, of course, are struggling because they're not in school around their peers, their
Right.
support group. At the same time, I'm not sure that we're ready yet for them to go back into a building in the midst of COVID-19. So let's make sure our kids have what they need to be supported right now. And then, yes, but run for office. Any and everybody has every single right to run for office. Don't wait for somebody to tell you it's your time, because you're never going to be told it's your time, because there's
Right.
always somebody else that the establishment, the status quo, is putting ahead of you and saying
You have to
it's
make it your time.
you have to make it your time. Make sure that you are supporting good bills. Make sure you support Brianna's Law. Check and see, did your state representative sign on as a co-sponsor? If they haven't, you have every right to contact them and say, I would like you to sign on to Brianna's Law. Get
Mhm.
involved. There's so many ways to get involved.
Right. There's a young lady that's running for JCTA board,
Okay.
Nicole Finney. Now,
Oh, Finley.
Finley,
We graduated from, oh no, we didn't
how do
graduate
you
from
vote
high
for her? How do we
school.
vote for her?
Well, we went to high school together. We didn't graduate together, but we went to high school together, and
Okay.
our daughters graduated from high school together. Um, so we can't vote for her, but we can make sure to share on our social media that she's running, so that teachers who do follow us will see that we support her.
Okay, okay. Because I saw that, and I saw the date was like from today to the 26th
Okay.
that you can vote. So
Okay.
teachers would have to vote for her.
That's right. That's
Okay.
right.
Okay. So now I got that straight, because it had a list of all the schools that she
Okay.
represented, and they were kind of our schools where our kids go
Okay.
mostly, and they were mostly in the West.
Okay.
Most of the schools were. So,
Okay.
um, that's one of those positions that now you have to be within the school system to be able to run for that office, or how
Yes.
does that work? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Which makes sense, right? Because if it's focused on the schools and the school's internal management and politics, then you should be a part of that system.
Okay. Okay. So now I understand that. I didn't know just how that worked. So I'll make sure that I keep Miss Nicole Finley, right?
And and let me double check, because it could be somebody else whose last name is Finney, but I know a Nicole Finley who's a teacher, so I thought it was her, but I should double check.
Um, yeah, I saw, and actually I saw that on Facebook today. So
Okay.
you might be able to check that out and see if it is her or not. But if it is her, I think everybody needs to vote for her now. So, what do you see now? You're in session now. How long is
We
the
are.
session?
So this is
Or
the
just started?
official. No, this is the official halfway point. We're on day
Okay.
15 today. So we've got
Okay.
15 more days to go. We have to end by March 30th. So we end Tuesday, March 30th. So we've got 14 more days to go to get the business of the Commonwealth done. So that gives us a little bit of time to work on these issues that I just talked about: Brianna's Law, the Maternal Care Act, the Crown Act. So
Are
we
they
need folks
bringing them to the
to step up.
floor?
No, they're not. They have not heard any of our bills since I've been here. No Black members' bills, I should say. Black Caucus members. That includes Representative Nima Kulkarni, who is our only Indian immigrant in the House.
And so the no chokeholds, the no knock warrants, that
Correct.
got passed though, didn't it?
No, that got passed in Louisville.
In Louisville, but not in the
That's
state.
at the state level. That's Brianna's Law, which has
Okay.
not been heard yet.
Oh, wow.
because they haven't heard any Black members' bills.
But don't they think that's a little petty?
I don't know that they care about being petty.
No. You know, we've
And
been
it's and
holding our breath for 4 years.
and for me, it's even bigger than being petty. That is blatant racism.
Yeah,
Blatant.
yeah,
So our tax dollars, because we're paid through tax dollars, our tax dollars are going to support this blatant racism. We are paying these legislators to be blatantly racist.
right. And do nothing in our best interest.
That's
Absolutely
right.
nothing.
That's right.
Well, Attica, I take my hat off to you because I probably would have lost my temper by now. But I
You know
really
what you would not have, because you carry yourself with dignity and grace, and they don't deserve for you to do anything other than continue to carry yourself with dignity and grace. So you would not have, because they're not worth it. You got too many
no, they're
people
not.
to support you.
And like I said, I take my hat off to you. You're doing a fabulous job. You know, you I feel your heart is all in it. You
Thank
know,
you.
and that's it's not easy to be genuine for everybody,
Mhm.
but it comes through with you that
Thank you.
you are truly a legislator. You are truly there to help us, to help better our situation, your
Mm,
constituents, to
mhm.
help better our situation. And you fought the fight, and you keep fighting the fight. Don't stop fighting the fight, because
That's right.
we behind you.
I appreciate it.
We're behind you, but it's a it's a task. That's a
Mhm.
daunting task to have to sit there and put things together and not be recognized
Mhm.
at all.
Yeah.
To not be given to as if you didn't do any work, or what
Mhm.
work you did is has no merit. You
Mhm.
know,
That's
who
right.
look, it leaves me speechless. Well, I'm glad you got in from Frankfurt. I told
Thank you.
everybody, I said, listen, I said, now I don't know what happened, but I might come back on. And if she calls me, I'm coming back on. So you
Awesome.
did, and voila.
I truly appreciate your patience, because I know that when we're in session, things are just kind of tenuous. We just don't know how things are
Right,
going to go.
right,
But thank
right.
you.
And I thank you for accepting this invitation to dinner. And when we really have a new setup where we're going to have dinner, this conversation was supposed to be really over dinner.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm working on that part of it. So
Okay.
when that happens, I'm going to bring you back, and you're going to let us know that you got something, they brought something to the floor.
That's right.
We're going to keep fighting for that. And
That's right. That's it.
everybody needs to send in letters, do whatever they need to do,
That's right.
um, to your state assembly person, and tell them
That's right.
it's unfair. Let's
Hmm.
stop the madness.
That's it. Keep
You know,
making those phone calls. Keep sending those emails. All of it. Keep doing all
yeah.
of it.
Well, thank you, Representative Attica Scott. I'm
Thank you,
glad
Miss
you
Jan.
made it in. I'm glad you're doing what you do. We need you, and we thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay, and if ever you want to come back, you got something you want to tell us, just let me know, okay?
I will. I
Okay.
appreciate you.
All right, darling. Take care of
All
yourself.
right. You
Bye
too. Bye
bye.
bye.
All right, now we had Representative Attica Scott from the State Assembly up there fighting that fight with them folks. Ooh, Lord, I know that's a handful, but you have to also change in order to change their minds, you have to change people's hearts. Now, I don't know what Black folks have to do to change people's hearts, uh, but I understand that it's love, that we have to always show love. We're the most lovingest folks you ever want to see in your life. We've always shown love. We've always shown forgiveness, and we've always been rejected, but we have to keep showing love, because, see, that's what the Bible says. And all of us learned that in Sunday school, because I know most of us went to Sunday school. You must love thy neighbor, and so hopefully your neighbor will learn how to love you, or us, per se, to be more specific. All right. Well, that was the interview that was planned for Guess Who's Coming to Dinner tonight, and it was State Representative Attica Scott. She got in town a little late, but I said, come on, I'm ready. I'll go back on, and they'll just have to deal with it because it's that important. So thank you for tuning in again. And like I said, see us on Friday when we have Executive Director of LCCC, Mr. Kevin Fields. And on that note, bon appetit. Guess who's coming to dinner?